Better MMA is back with another video. I wanted to take some time after UFC 299 to really soak in the aftermath, see the press conferences of the fighters, hear people's reactions, see how things get played out and what information is leaked in the days following the fight, and just get a broader perspective on where I see the Bantamweight division moving on from here after Sean O'Malley defended his title against Chito Vera in a dominant 5-round decision. And if I'm going to be completely fair to Sean O'Malley, and ever since I've lost money betting on Sean O'Malley in the first Chito Vera fight, I've been very critical of him. But I have to give credit where credit is due, and Sean O'Malley is a very good fighter, and Sean O'Malley had a very good first title defense. His first title defense was a dominant display of his skills against a very, very tough gatekeeper of the division. Chito Vera was number 5 in the rankings when he got that title fight. And I'm checking right now the rankings, and Chito Vera is still, yes, number 5. So the people that are waiting in line to fight for the title, it currently goes Merab Dvalishvili, number 1, Aljamain 2, Corey Sandhagen 3, Peter Yan 4. Aljamain and Peter have already lost to the champion. And Aljamain is going up to 45 to fight Calvin Kattar at UFC 300. So he's double out of the equation. If Peter Yan wants a fight against O'Malley, he had a great performance against Yadong. He really just needs one more performance against a top contender that is impressive to get him another shot at that title, if you ask me. If his next fight is a disappointing decision, he will most likely not get that title shot. Looking at Corey Sandhagen, who's very, very hungry and deserving of that title shot. But the only two people in the top 5 right now who we can take seriously for the title shot would be Merab or Corey. I think everybody is leaning towards giving Merab the title shot. We're fine with watching Merab fight for the title because at least he is fighting at Bantamweight. So even though he doesn't have the most finishing sort of style, he is at least putting on a very, very high pace throughout the fight. So he does tend to put on quite high-paced, exciting fights. Merab gets rocked. Whenever Merab seems to be on a big pay-per-view, when he was on the big pay-per-view against Marlon Moraes, and then on a great big pay-per-view against Henry Cejudo, he seems to get rocked. I'm just noticing that as a trend. But a lot of people are talking about Merab being the favorite in this matchup. Is it justified? Is it not? I think the more hardcore fans could say that it doesn't really make sense to call the champion the underdog in this scenario, even if you're going to say that it's a stylistic mismatch for the champion. He is still the champion at the end of the day, and he got past a guy in Peter Yan, who is a very tough, well-rounded fighter. Just to go over real quick how I think the Merab fight would go. Merab is, of course, going to try his chain wrestling and trying to get into the pocket. The biggest battle in the Sean O'Malley-Merab fight is going to be the footwork battle. Now, that might seem very odd for people to understand, or for some people to understand, but consider it like this. if Merab gets in on the inside and he's able to throw shots for O'Malley to raise his guard, and then Merab is able to get in on a single leg or a double leg or whatever takedown he wishes, similar to how Peter Yan was able to do in Peter Yan's fight against O'Malley. The stamina he has is incredible, and he's going to be able to make those chain wrestling combinations and ferociously try and get Sean to the ground. Now, the problems for Merab here are twofold. Merab has a big frame disadvantage. If somebody has a bigger frame than you, Daniel Cormier speaks about this in his fight with John Jones. If that person knows how to use their leverage and knows how to manipulate their frame, it makes it very hard to take that person down. So I think Sean is going to be a lot harder to take down than certainly what the odds makers are expecting. So I don't see Merab being able to throw Sean O'Malley down to the ground at will. Now, that's the first problem for Merab. He won't be able to throw him down at will. The second problem for Merab is that Sean does have a very good jiu-jitsu game. First off, that is if Merab is able to secure guard. But what I think is the greater problem for Merab is that Sean has shown himself to scramble very well. And in a division like Bantamweight, you're going to see more scrambles, especially in a high-level championship fight. So you're not going to see Sean O'Malley settling for guard in his fight with Merab Dvalishvili. So you're going to see a lot of these moments where Sean O'Malley is avoiding the takedown and he's going to be resetting for his striking combinations. And it's going to be in these resets where Sean is going to be winning the footwork game. And that being, he's going to be setting himself up for long-range shots to pick apart Merab and to look for that KO finishing blow as he's picking Merab apart. So, to not go too deep into that fight, we'll get to that fight even if it happens. But that is the way that I see that fight going. Merab having difficulty to get Sean to the ground. When he gets Sean to the ground, he will not have much success because Sean is a decent enough fighter at fighting off of his back and being able to scramble and get back up to his feet. He's actually quite good at that for a bantamweight fighter because he's so big for the division. When he's able to grab a hold of a leg or an arm or twist his way out of there, he is very efficient at doing that, and you could even argue that he's one of the best fighters in the division at getting back up to his feet. We have not seen him held down on the ground for any extended amount of time in his career, other than some moments in the Peter Yan fight. But Sean has always shown a great ability to get back up to his feet, so I expect him to pick apart Merab on the feet. And simple as Merab is a very checkers type of striker. Look, at the end of the day, when you're somebody who is Merab's size and you're fighting somebody like Sean O'Malley, you don't have the most natural advantages for the boxing or striking exchanges. So you need to be a very intelligent fighter with how you use your head movement, cut angles with your footwork, systematically timing your jab, not just throwing your jab out there so you can get countered by the longer fighter. And then, of course, moving in with your footwork and angles and ripping to the body, ripping to the head, getting in on the inside, right? Merab has not shown an ability to do this in his career at any point. Okay, Merab has always shown himself to have a lack of head movement, to go back and forth in a straight line. He does not cut angles. My BS detector is smelling people expecting Merab to have some sort of head movement and inside boxing that we've simply never seen him have before. Similar to the way people were hoping Chito Vera could be Sean Strickland, for his fight against Sean O'Malley. I think people are hoping that Merab can add that missing element to his game, which would complete his MMA game, and I think it would give him the ability to knock out Sean O'Malley and to defeat Sean O'Malley. This is the way I would put this very simply. And then I'll move on to the Corey Sandhagen fight. If Merab Dvalishvili had the same level of striking as Ilia Topuria, I would be picking Merab Dvalishvili to beat Sean O'Malley every single time. Now, that's very funny because they're both of Georgian descent and they are buddies. So if they could work together in the lead up to that fight, I think that would be absolutely perfect for Merab. And if he does, it would almost, it wouldn't, but almost make me want to pick Merab in that fight. But Merab simply does not have close to the level of boxing that Ilia Topuria has. We have never seen Merab be able to put a 2 to 3 to 4 punch combination. He does not have enough of an arsenal in the striking to confuse Sean O'Malley on the feet, to get Sean O'Malley's guard moving around to where Merab is going to start being able to see openings and hitting him with strikes in the later rounds. It's not going to go like that because simple as Sean O'Malley is too good in the footwork game. Sean O'Malley is not going to let himself be marched down by Merab. Now Merab is going to try and do that, yeah. He's going to end up walking into a knee if he wants to march down Sean O'Malley. Merab simply does not have those hands. But I'm giving away all the goods too early. How does Sean O'Malley perform against Corey Sandhagen? I think Corey Sandhagen has the better chance of beating Sean O'Malley out of the two. If we're talking about Merab or Corey Sandhagen getting the fight, I would say that Corey Sandhagen has a better chance of beating Sean O'Malley, and that is simply based off the fact that Corey Sandhagen is sort of like the antithesis skinny white boy of Sean O'Malley, and that is that Corey Sandhagen is the nerd who's going to do his homework, essentially. So he is going to do his homework and he's going to create a great game plan to mix up his striking and his wrestling, and to win a 5-round decision. I think that would be the hope of Corey Sandhagen. And what's great about Corey Sandhagen is that he is good enough to beat anybody in this bantamweight division, because he always does come up with such a great game plan, and he has the frame and the striking and grappling intellect to be competitive at the highest level in any sort of situation. So I think Corey Sandhagen really has the best matchup against Sean O'Malley because he will match that frame that Sean O'Malley has. So I actually think Corey Sandhagen would have more success in maintaining control over Sean O'Malley for an extended period of time. I think Merab perhaps would be able to get Sean O'Malley down more times as a result of trying so many takedowns, because that's essentially all Merab does in a fight is attempt takedowns, either succeed or fail, and then attempt takedowns, either when the guy gets back up or the round starts and the round ends and it starts again. So Sean O'Malley and Corey Sandhagen, I think, will have a much more entertaining fight because you are going to see these two have a chess match in there. Merab will not have a chess match with Sean O'Malley. It's going to be checkers, okay? Is there going to be entertainment value? Of course, but it will be checkers. The Corey Sandhagen fight is going to be very cerebral, as most Corey Sandhagen fights are. He is going to be working his footwork from the outside, and both of them will be looking to maintain their range and to establish their range with jabs, front kicks, leg kicks, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see Corey Sandhagen trying to initiate his takedowns, and I think it will be even more interesting to try and see Sean O'Malley defend the takedown on somebody who has a comparable frame to him. So I know that we are all talking about Merab deserves the title shot, which he does. For the amount of people that he's been fighting, he showed up to make weight again, and Corey Sandhagen hasn't been asking for the fight at the end of the day. I mean, Corey Sandhagen fought for an interim title in 2021 against Peter Yan, and he's gone on a 3-fight win streak since, absolutely dominating and gatekeeping the top 5. I think it's a travesty to his own career that he isn't out there calling for the title shot. Speaking up goes a long way. You don't get what you don't ask for. And especially in the UFC, that rings true. So I feel like Corey Sandhagen fans are bigger Corey Sandhagen fans than Corey Sandhagen. And I don't think that. I pretty much damn well know that. Because we speak up for him more than he does. You know, he's on here making videos about books and shit. I don't want to watch that shit. I don't watch that. Dude, you're talking about books? You're talking about books to me? And you want to be my UFC champion? You're talking to me about books? What, do you want to warm up some milk for me too? Swaddle me up in a blankie? Like, I don't know if Corey Sandhagen is Corey Sandhagen or Mr. Rogers. Man, like, Corey Sandhagen is catching some strays right now, but I mean, like, that just... Thinking about that really triggered me, because this is going to get into the deeper part of the video that I wanted to end this video off with. Sean O'Malley has the possibility to be a dominant champion for, I think, at least a 3 to 5 year period. And that is because the Bantamweight division is simply not nearly as deep as it once was. Now, I think like COVID or something gave people a very messed up perception of time, but the Bantamweight division of 2021 compared to now, they are two very different divisions. Now, there are some commonalities in a few of the names here and there, but a lot of these names have either changed in the way that we see them, or some of those names are just completely out of there. So just to run down a quick list for you guys of these fighters. This was in 2021. You had TJ Dillashaw, who just came back and defeated Corey Sandhagen. You also had Jose Aldo, who is still in the mix, fresh off of his fight with Peter Yan, which in my opinion is the best bantamweight title fight of all time. That might be one of my all-time favorite fights, and one of the few fights that I'm very glad was in the UFC Apex, because the sounds that came from that fight, I mean, added so much to the intensity of it. When you're watching, like, especially smaller guys, when they're going back and forth, exchanging combinations, trading and trading and trading and trading, when we're watching it and we're hearing the roars of the crowd and we can't hear those punches, it kind of gets washed away. So when you could hear it and really get a sense of how hard these guys are actually cracking each other, it really adds to the realness of it and the intensity of it. So I absolutely love that title fight. But you had these guys, TJ Dillashaw was still in the rankings. Jose Aldo was still in the rankings. Frankie Edgar was still in the rankings. And we're talking top 10 guys. Dominic Cruz, he was more so in 9, I believe, or he was fading out of that top 10 because I believe he'd come back to just fight Casey Kenny. Rob Font was still up there because he had just come off his knockout of Marlon Moraes. And, of course, you had guys like Jimmy Rivera, who I think Jimmy Rivera is just one of those studs who, like, at any point in time in his career, he could have been a champion. I think Jimmy Rivera is one of those guys to where it's like he just always got the bad end of the stick somehow. He always got bad luck somehow. Maybe it was, steroid luck. Who knows? But he never lacked talent. He never lacked heart, it seemed. Just things just wouldn't pan out for him. He would just, end up with the wrong matchup at the wrong time. And yeah, but Jimmy Rivera was up there in that top 15 too. So you had a whole top 15 essentially of guys who could be world beaters and world champions. If you're looking at the bantamweight division now, you're not looking at the same level of competition. And that really has to give credit to Sean O'Malley and what he showed in his Chito Vera performance. And what I expect he'll show in his Merab Dvalishvili fight and in his Corey Sandhagen performance. You know, I think a Sean O'Malley in 2021, I don't know if he beats 2021 Corey Sandhagen. Who knows? That's a different conversation. But Henry Cejudo, I really think is done in his career. I think it was a mistake for him to even fight. I think it was a mistake for Henry to come back and fight Aljamain. I think it was an even bigger mistake for him to fight Merab. And I think it's an even bigger mistake for him to take another fight. I am going to make a video about Henry Cejudo very soon, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, guys, but Rob Font, who's been fraud checked, really the only other exciting fighter in terms of title contention that we can get excited about at this point in time would be Umar Nurmagomedov. And then who is right below Umar Nurmagomedov? Dominic Cruz, who should not be in the rankings whatsoever because he's not active and he's not fighting. And then who is right below Dominic Cruz? The MMA Lab boys, Kyler Phillips and Mario Bautista. Kyler Phillips needs to learn that when you're bouncing up and down on your feet, that doesn't give you any points in MMA. Stop wasting so much energy just bouncing up and down doing nothing. Gain your breath. Have some fluid movement. Maybe your feints would actually work if you did that then. So you would have some change in your rhythm. Mario Bautista I like. Jonathan Martinez I like. Pedro Munoz I think is an OG. If you ask me, I would put Pedro Munoz in the UFC Hall of Fame. Yes, I said that. We need to be giving credit to the dudes who'd fight anybody at any time, no matter if they got a belt. Okay, we got to give credit to these guys. But yeah, wrapping the video up there, guys. The bantamweight division is not as deep as it once was. So Sean O'Malley is going to be your reigning defending champion for a very, very long time. And I think it was an absolutely beautiful performance by the UFC. They could have shot him up very early in 2021, 2022. But they said, you know what? The waters are too deep right now. We're going to let everybody else beat each other. And that's exactly what happened. Everybody ended up beating each other and softened each other up pretty much. And the division has been softened up for O'Malley. And it's his for the taking. So, congratulations to the Fruitcake Champ. Better MMA. Always giving you the better MMA takes. Like the video. Subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. As always. Share the video. Peace.